Oh, exciting times ahead. We got a little sneak peek from Devin Booker on his Instagram stories.
The smallest.
It's the teeniest tiny peek,
We got a
but we're
number.
getting new uniforms.
See the number?
And
We
the
see a
top.
little bit of purple. And then the one thing that is exciting to people is if you look at the very top corner of the white, he didn't quite cover everything of the image, and it certainly looks like a sunburst is on that jersey. So we're holding on to one up in that top right, little
Okay.
tiny bit.
Yeah.
Right? There's that little bump right under the PayPal logo
Yep.
right there.
There we go.
Listen, you're
Right
going to think
there.
I'm crazy for this, but the biggest thing that stands out to me this picture is Emma, go up. Why is there such a hard cut of carpet?
Yeah.
Where is this? I
That
need
is-
to know,
What?
like, why is one carpet, one design that is like super loud, and then it's just like a ripped the carpet out and stuck a new slab right there. What is this?
Okay, all the jerseys
What
are
is this?
all the jerseys are at the arena on level 0. So this must be somewhere in the because there's no way in hell they let Devin Booker take a new jersey out into the wild. I guarantee
But like, you just renovated that arena. Who approved this carpet to carpet transition?
It's a good
Who
question.
did this?
Who was in charge of it? Let's run them out of town.
Like, you want to send hate somewhere? Send it to the carpet situation.
Yeah.
It does look like a very weird airport
It's
carpet
so
situation.
weird. I can't get over it. I know
Maybe-
it's the weirdest thing to fixate on with this photo, but my God,
I
it
didn't
stood
even
out like a
notice.
sore thumb, and I cannot unsee it.
I didn't even
got it.
notice the carpet.
I got it. It's actually Devin Booker requested a very specific kind of carpet in front of only his locker,
Maybe.
and that's why it looks like that. You do what the man wants, Lindsay.
Oh my God. It's just, I don't know. It drives me crazy. But here's the thing. These uniforms, word on the street is we're going to probably see them in the next week or two
Yes.
at most.
There is a private event for 6-man members taking place Sunday and Monday. And part of the invitation says you are not allowed to bring any camera or any cell phone into this event, and we recommend you leave it at home, not even bring it at all, which tells me they're showing them something that they don't want out in public.
Right.
Which the only thing that makes sense to that is these new jerseys. I know that the players have already done shoots in them. They've seen them. Obviously, Devin Booker was looking at both of them the other day. He deleted that really quick, too. So I'm guessing somebody...
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
He
Somebody
knows
in,
what
mar-
he's doing.
somebody in marketing or somebody else over there went, can we take it down?
Can I just say my favorite jersey leak of all time was Tyler Eulis accidentally sharing them on Instagram stories from the
Didn't
locker
realize.
room.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that.
My favorite one of
Forgot
all
about that.
time.
Yeah.
And then I also, like, lesser extent, but I always find it hilarious that Dick's in Fashion Square always leaked jerseys before. They always had the jersey out on a mannequin before the team was able to do, like, the announcement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, how many years in a row are we going to do this?
Do we
Yeah.
want some Espo story time?
Yeah.
I think it was 2012, 2013 when they came out with those ones that had like the white streaks with the weird half circle and the number.
Mhm. You're
and
talking
that-
about the Karan Butlers?
Yeah, the Karan Butler fashion
Yes.
jerseys that I
Yes.
still wish I owned. The only time he ever wore that.
Those were
But anyways,
terrible.
so we go through the whole process. I've seen everything during the designs. The marketing department has kept it under wraps. Nobody's seen anything, right? We're doing a fashion show at Fashion Square. It's all set up. We're going through the history of the jerseys. All the old people, all the old players are coming out. Like there's literally a catwalk to unveil these. And an hour before, somebody who's opening up the merch that they're going to sell at the event itself takes a photo and posts it on Twitter.
no.
And I'm like, all these people's hard work went right out the window because somebody took a photo while opening a damn box.
Oh,
And
man.
I felt so
Oh,
bad
my
for the marketing
God.
department because you put so much effort into that, right? You
Mhm.
run tease campaigns, you do all sorts of things. You know, you go through the 2 years of iterations on it, and all these things that have symbolism and whatnot, and it just gets the unveil just gets ruined like that.
That's brutal.
Listen, I will say when it comes to jerseys, because Phoenix said, LOL, what's the big deal about leaking a jersey. It's just the amount of work that goes into like creating buzz and marketing stuff and whatnot about it. But I will say one of the biggest things that drives me bonkers about jerseys is how, and again, it's just marketing and I understand the reasoning for it, but like the spin of the why behind all the things, like, oh, we specifically chose 3 lines, not just because it made sense and looked good on the design, but because it represents the sun, the moon, and the stars, or
Would you-
some shit
Would you like
that.
another story, Lindsay?
I mean, I know them, but it's just like that. Like the pattern on the side represents Arizona's history of insert random thing that no Arizona knows anything about here.
Remember those gray ones, the sleeved ones?
No.
I wrote that for
I
that one.
know.
I made up a whole bunch of stuff.
I get it.
The-
But it drives me bonkers.
The burnt gray represents the rising of the phoenix
ash.
from the ash in the
Mhm.
desert.
Yeah.
And the western font represents the 1958 Phoenix Giants who won and the Phoenix Suns of
Yeah.
the 70s and 80s. It was all bullshit. The marketing department came up with the jersey.
Like-
They're like, Espo, can you help us make this feel like
if
it has
it
meaning?
makes sense, like we saw with the originated
Turquoise,
jersey
yeah.
last year.
Those
if
were
it
good.
genuinely makes sense, I'm on board with it. But to just like pull something out just for the sake of doing it,
Mhm.
I'm not on board with.
And sometimes there
Anyway,
are
that was a
sometimes there are
tangent.
details like that Adidas one I mentioned.
Mhm.
The number of streaks on purpose that were put on there were the number of people in the Ring of Honor at the time. So there are little details that are thought of by people.
And
but-
those things I don't mind. It's when you make something out of nothing
Yeah.
that drives me bonkers. And that happens more often than you would like to think. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now because we did see some potential mock-ups
I
of
do
what
see-
maybe this jersey will look like on the internet.
I do see the irony of showing this after we just talked about leaks ruining something. But based on all the rumors, my friend over at Suns Uni Tracker on Twitter has spent a lot of time putting these together. And this is his best guess as to what each one of these uniforms, the association, and the icon will look like. As we talked about, they can't go back to the original burst because of a contract with Mitchell and Ness. But this is their take on what a modern burst would look like. It's much better than the first one we saw leaked last summer or
Mhm.
last spring, whatever it was. That supposedly was one of the original prototype drawings that
But they're
Nike had
so
done.
similar.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
these,
like it's drastically different. It's better, don't get me wrong,
it's
but
not
it's
as
not like
cartoonish as
Yeah.
the other one. I mean, it's a burst. It's close, but it's not the original. But I like the take on it.
Yeah, I like them. I wouldn't mind them. I still think they look a little bit cartoony, but I've gone on the record and saying that the like early 2000s, 90s jerseys were the best jerseys.
Yes,
And
100%.
I mean, the freaking Raptors one had a cartoon
Oh, yeah.
dinosaur on the front, and it's still iconic.
Oh,
So like, I don't mind a
My
little
thing
cartoon.
is if you're gonna do cartoon, like lean all the way in and give us some of like the OG stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like if we're gonna go there, just dive in. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Like I don't want the tiptoe. I don't want to test the water. I just want you to jump in cannonball style.
Yeah, I mean, the original Sunburst jersey at the time was called the Lisa Simpson because it looks like her head. I mean, honestly, that was what it was referred to in some
Oh,
league
wow.
circles. So
Yeah.
That's funny.
if it's gonna be cartoonish, it's gonna be cartoonish. This is a better step than what we originally saw. These are the kind of things that people will eventually like. If they don't like it now, they will eventually like, especially if the Suns team goes on a deep run.
And it'll
you know?
always. We know for certain that jerseys always, always, always look better on players.
Yes.
Mhm.
You can't give a full opinion about the jerseys until you see them on an actual athlete.
And like some people still like the Nash era jerseys, which were objectively terrible. But the reason that they like them is because of all the happy memories associated with those teams, with watching them play, with watching them go to the conference finals. If this team wins a championship in those jerseys, you best believe a whole new generation of Suns fans are going to love these jerseys no matter what they look like.
Yeah.
I love that 7 seconds or less team, but still every time I see those uniforms,
They're
I wanna throw
terrible.
up.
They're awful.
One of the best eras in Suns basketball with one of the worst uniforms in sports history.
Yep.
Listen, we're not going to go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to say I've seen a few people in the chat saying that They really hope that the city edition jersey this year is going to be good.
Mhm.
Everything that I have heard is that they're going to be good.
Okay.
So I have not seen them. I've just heard a few things here and there, and I'm very excited to see these ones.
Okay.
I've heard that they're going to be super cool. So
Lindsay, would you like to write the marketing stuff? I can call up.
I would
people
not.
over there.
I would not.
No?
No, but thank you. I appreciate it.
No,
I appreciate it.
Everybody
Good looking
deserves
out.
the experience to make bullshit up
This
like
is-
that at
listen.
one time of their life.
We've all
Gerald,
been
I
there.
could get you in on it if you want.
Yeah.
Gerald has
perfect.
done plenty this week with
Not
his
as-
Bol Bol article.
Well, that wasn't
Okay.
bullshit.
No,
Wait,
I'm
no.
just saying, as far as colorful writing goes,
Mhm.
Gerald is maxed out this week. Okay, maybe next
Oh.
week.
I do have
But-
to write again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
But is there going to be as many Bol Bol shenanigans in tomorrow's?
no.
Exactly.